Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new online interview here at Commodity TV. And today I have a very special guest out of Canada. Victor Cantore, the CEO of Amex Exploration, is here with me. Victor, Happy New Year and greetings to Riyadh or Riyadh, how the Arabic people are calling it. Greetings to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you for having me back on for an interview. Yeah, it's really nice here. It's quite impressive here in Riyadh. We're out here trying to it's looking for investors. Everybody's interested in gold, so we were lucky enough to actually. They actually had to stop registrations at 25,000 registrations. They had a record year, and it's really well organized. Really well organized. It's quite impressive.
So you speak about the Future Minerals Forum in the Saudi Arabian capital. How's
Yeah.
the conference going so far?
Yeah, conference is great. Conference is great. It's a lot of investors, a lot of interest. Our story really comes out with a lot of investors. We're a developer. We're still in exploration, but we're also a developer. So we're advancing. Soon the bulk sample and then production. So we're doing everything we need to that needs to be done in order to get the permitting so we can start construction and start production. And at the same time, we started the real exploration drilling now in January. So we got that going. Soon an exploration agreement with on the Ontario side with the First Nations on the Ontario side, and the drills will be turning in Ontario also on what we call on Perron West.
Okay, for those of our viewers who are not yet familiar with your company, could you give a very short introduction into the company and in particular into your flagship project, Perron, please?
Absolutely. So what we've drilled so far, we've drilled a little over 500,000 meters. We've actually put out a resource, and not just a resource, but along with a PA. What's really impressive is the Champagne zone. So we've got a total of 2.3 million ounces, average grade around 5.4 grams per ton. But there's 1.6 million ounces in measured and indicated, an average grade of 6 grams per ton. And within that, there's the Champagne zone, which is really impressive. There's 831,000 ounces of measured and indicated at 16.2 grams per ton. So that area was about 45.6 square kilometers. And we've made a couple of acquisitions in 2025. We went from 45.6 square kilometers to over 500 square kilometers in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. We have more than 70 kilometers on a trend, like on the actual trend, and right on the Greenstone Belt. So it's quite impressive. The PA numbers are really impressive, including metallurgy. That's the quick. Now we can do and ask whatever questions you need, and I can provide more information. So and with the PA, for example, what we've done, we've announced that we're going to be going forward with the bulk sample, and then moving forward to production. So you're going to have in excess of 100,000 ounces a year the first 10 years of production. Numbers are really great, low capex, high grade, near a town, near electricity, near water. The towns are very supportive of the project, so it's really quite impressive. The metallurgy is really impressive. We've used 95% recovery for the study, but we were actually in lab. We were getting over 99% recovery. All this gold is in. It's basically free gold in quartz.
Okay. Since our last interview about 5 weeks ago, your share price has risen by around 20 to 25%. I believe this is certainly also due to the fact that investment houses are increasingly analyzing and evaluating your company. For example, Mills Dunlop describes Perron as a project that is in its own league, and yeah, compared to other projects by competitors, it delivers high margins and has high grades. Which analyst houses currently cover Amex, and what are the price targets?
Yeah, they're gonna be adjusting their price targets now. I don't have so there's Canaccord, there's National Bank, there's Haywood, and there's Ventum that cover us. If we look at if we look at the numbers on the economic analysis from the PA, so we were using a base case of 2,500, and at the time when we issued this. Back in September, we used a spot price of $3,400. I mean, I'll choose those numbers for now because gold has risen all the way to $4,600 an ounce now. So at $3,400, it's quite impressive. You're looking at a post-tax NPV of $1.8 billion at 3,400. I mean, that is really impressive. You're looking at a post-tax IRR of 107%. The payback period is point 0.4. An important ratio is your NPV over your capex, and at $3,400 gold, you're looking at 13 times. Normally, 2 and 3 is really good. 13 is quite impressive. Um, so that's really the economic numbers that's driving this. On a post-tax NPV, if you would be using $4,000 gold, you would be at $2.3 billion, and I'm talking about post-tax. This is after-tax numbers. Your IRR goes to 130%. Your payback is really important. It's only point 0.2. Point 0.2 is what? It's like 3 months. In 3 months, the project just gets fully paid for.
Okay, another theme, Probe Gold with a similar project also in Quebec is currently being acquired by Fresnillo for, I believe, 780 million
Yes.
Canadian dollars. Would an acquisition or a buyout also be possible option for you instead of bringing the project into production yourself?
Absolutely. So there is a lot of M&A that's been going on in the industry right now. Um, you know, like for example, that's one of them. Fresnillo bought Probe. I think 2 years ago, Eldorado bought QMX. Another acquisition in Mexico was Prime Mining. Torex bought Prime Mining probably like six months ago. Also, I'm the chairman I was the chairman of Northern Superior. We were acquired by IAM Gold. So I'm just outlining those because there is quite you know the M&A activity is quite active. So yes, there is that possibility, but in order to get acquired, I can't a management team to be responsible. You can't just wait for an acquisition. Um, but when you look at putting this project into production, it's really not expensive. Like your initial capex, you're looking at $146 million only, which all that gets paid back at $4,000 gold. It gets paid back in 3 months. So it's quite impressive, and that number also there's pre-production revenue. So you actually wouldn't need $146 million because you have pre-production revenue of about $68 million that would come in, and plus you would have your bulk sample. We're waiting for a bulk sample permit from the Quebec government. We'd be producing. We've asked for a permit of over at 40,000 tons. If we get that, we would be producing about a little over 20,000 ounces. I mean, depending what price you use of gold, that's definitely going to bring in. If the prices stay the way they are now, it would be in excess of $100 million that would come in. That would more than pay all the capex. So what's important? So there's like three things going on, right? So you're you you definitely there's definitely room to be acquired by someone. There's M&A. Putting a project like this into production it's not remote, it's not high cost. You have labor that's right nearby. There's the town of Lassar, just a little bit south of us, about 23 minutes south of us. And at the same time, there's exploration potential. Like we have 500 square kilometers to continue exploring. and it's on 70 kilometers on strike, and we're fully cashed up. We just did a raise of 37.25 million, where it was Eldorado that put up 64% of that money. They've actually increased themselves now to 27%. So there's a lot going on in the sense, making new discoveries. I don't know too many other companies that own 500 square kilometers in the Abitibi greenstone belt and on the trend, like on the deformation zone, 70 kilometers of it on the deformation zone. So it's quite impressive. It's an impressive project. Like we're really blessed that we ended up making this discovery right beside a town, beside electricity, beside water. And on our site, you go to the PowerPoint. Like we even have a Gantt chart there, which shows the timeline, how we're gonna develop this, and also what you mentioned before, like with the high margins, high grade. Perron is basically in a league of its own. When you're mining this kind of grade right beside a town, it makes a big difference. Yeah, that's on page 22 where we have the compare 22 and 23 where we have the comparables with other projects. So yeah, it's really exciting times here going forward.
Okay, Victor. What else would you like to share with our viewers, and what can they expect from Amex Exploration in 2026 now?
Yeah, a lot of news. A lot of news. A lot of news looking forward to the drill results. The drills are turning right now. We have two drills right now that have started to turn on exploration, on pure exploration. We're going to add more on the Ontario side as soon as we get the exploration agreement with the First Nations. So look for press releases on that. Also, advancement on the bulk sample permit. Once that's there, we start construction. We'll start construction and moving that forward. So, we're on a dual path, right? There's still much more exploration to continue. I think we can grow this a lot more on the resource side, but then again, it's so rich anyways that we can come up with real big numbers. So, exploration and also development, moving this project forward. And if there's any opportunities for us to pick up more land at really good prices, which is what we've done, we'll continue. And like on the Ontario side, for example, we see a mirror image of what we've produced here on the Quebec side, and it actually looks even bigger there. And we do have much more land there. So yeah, a lot more to come up. And what's really important, like when it comes to pricing, for example, gold price, right? So we can always say, yeah, well, gold price is up. What happens if gold price would come down? We do put a sensitivity analysis on that, and we show the sensitivity analysis. Like at $2,000 gold, we would still have after tax. We would have an after tax NPV of $659 million, a post tax IRR of 47%, and a payback period of 2 years. So it's quite impressive. Like at $2,500 gold, it's over $1 billion of post tax NPV. So the reason I'm saying this is that the gold price really helps in making this a lot more profitable. But this is a project that even if gold would be at lower prices, it's still a great project, and I'm expecting gold to go higher, not lower, anyways. But it's important to mitigate that. Like, at what level are you still profitable? And like, this is a great project at $2,000 gold. At 4,600, it's really impressive.
Okay, Victor. Thank you very much for this insight, and yeah, all the best for 2026. And then I hope we can speak soon for an update, maybe at PDAC.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll continue coming on and updating your viewers as we put out more news, which will be shortly, and there'll be a lot of it. So we'll be seeing a lot of each other here.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. MX Exploration is hot, and the Perron project plays in its own league, and we await a lot from this company for 2026. And I would say check out MX Exploration, and therewith, bye bye from Switzerland.